Let's talk about Nauruan and the Nauruan language, right? Because this is going to be something new for a lot of people. And this is just a video that I wanted to make because there's not a lot of videos about the Nauruan language out there. And having the opportunity to live and work in Nauru for a bit, I just feel obliged to put something out there for people, some sort of resource, some sort of information out there for people to learn about this language, Nauruan, which is actually an endangered language when we talk about it. So Nauruan, like what is it? It's a language that's spoken in the country of Nauru, and Nauru is the third smallest country in the world. Not a lot of people visit Nauru. On average, it gets about 200 or so visitors. But Nauruan is this official language that is spoken there, and the language that or the country that the Nauruans call their I get in their language is Naueru, but spelled like Naueru, but they call it Nauru, right? And as I said, it's an endangered language, meaning that this language has the potential to go extinct. Not a lot of people speak Nauru fluently, just because of the English influence of the country. So many people in Nauru speak English, and the English comes mostly from the Australian, New Zealand, and the American influences, right? So they have their own English dialect, English kind of accent, but it's also influenced by former colonial powers. Um, and a lot more people speak English there nowadays. Anyway, so Nauru, it's a language that's regulated by the Nauru Language Bureau, and they're located on the Meneng Terrace. If you go up to Nauru in the Meneng Terrace area, there's going to be a building with the Nauru Language Bureau. I had the opportunity to meet the people there. Wonderful and nice people. But they're in charge of the dictionaries and sort of like the standards for the language. The funny thing is, Nauruan isn't really taught in schools. It's spoken in streets, but it's not really taught in schools, as you might think. It's the language that the Nauruans learn at home. So when they go to school, yeah, they can use it as a means of communication and a medium of instruction, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be used all the time, just because English is taught in schools. Written is another issue too, the written language, just because there's not really a standard to write Nauruan, or I guess a selected standardization in orthography for Nauruan. And its usage varies from person to person as well. So the dialects of Nauruan, it used to be very, very vast, but nowadays the Nauruan dialect is more of like changing with older Nauruan to modern Nauruan. So even though some people still speak an older form of Nauruan or some sort of formal kind of form of Nauruan, there's also the new generation of younger speakers that speak it differently than how it would be on the correct kind of form, if you will. And finally, its current status. It is the only official language of Nauru, despite having English as more of like a lingua franca there, just because of the other expats and a lot of foreigners in Nauru. It is used in official documents as well, so you'll find Nauruan translated into English on official documents. And you will also see bits and pieces of Nauruan. You'll also learn some Nauruan from the people out in the streets. Even the little kids might talk to you in Nauruan or something. But I do know for a fact that a lot of people in Nauru, a lot of the youth, they do speak Nauruan amongst themselves and other people. Although it might not be the correct way as other people might think it is, it's still a Nauruan language. I should put it out there, right? So those are just some tiny little facts about the Nauruan language. And obviously, if you go to Nauru, you'll get much more of a bigger sense of the language itself.